Welcome to Mr. Chalk's Revision Tips. In this video, we will look at monoclonal antibodies and the uses of monoclonal antibodies. So, mono means one and clone means an identical copy. So, monoclonal antibodies are identical copies of one type of antibody. So, antibodies are proteins produced by a type of white blood cell called a lymphocyte. So pathogens have proteins on their surface called antigens. So when a pathogen infects the body, the lymphocytes recognize these antigens as foreign and attack by producing antibodies. So antibodies bind to specific antigens on the pathogens, right? So this means that they will only bind to one type of pathogen. So scientists have discovered that we could make antibodies to bind to agents on other substances. So once bound these antigens to these antigens and the substances they're found on, they merge tightly together, and this makes it easier for the body to identify and deal with them. So if we look at the process of making monoclonal antibodies, so an antigen is injected into a mouse. So the mouse naturally produces lymphocytes which produce antibodies specific to that antigen. So spleen cells are produced to produce lymphocytes are removed during a small operation. So these spleen cells are fused with human cancerous white blood cells called myeloma cells to form a hybrid donor cell, which can divide indefinitely, and these hybrid donor cells divide and produce millions of monoclonal antibodies specific to the original antigen. So researchers can design antibodies that specifically target a certain antigen, such as one found on cancer cells. So they can make many copies of the antibodies in the lab, right? And they're called monoclonal antibodies. So, pregnancy test kits use monoclonal antibodies. So these have been designed to bind with a hormone called HCG, which is only found in the urine of pregnant women. So monoclonal antibodies are attached to the end of a pregnancy stick on which a woman urinates. If she's pregnant, the HCG will be present in her urine and will bind to the monoclonal antibodies. And this will cause a change in colour or a pattern which will indicate that she is pregnant. So some of the uses of monoclonal antibodies. So cancer cells have antigens, so monoclonal antibodies have been designed to bind specifically with these antigens. So when injected into a person's body, the monoclonal antibodies will bind to these cancer cells and cause them to clump together. This makes it easier to identify the cancerous tumour, so it can be treated or removed. So the monoclonal antibodies have also been designed to treat cancer by carrying drugs that have been attached to them to the tumour cell, or encouraging your own immune system to attack and destroy those cancer cells. Thanks for watching.